Hi everyone. Today I'm excited because I got Boyd Butler from greatlegalmarketing.co.uk. Reason I have Boyd on the show is because I want him to specifically talk to us about, how to find, get, keep, and grow customers for our businesses. And I felt that, Boyd will be a very good person to help us do this because he actually helps attorneys and lawyers do this very same thing for their business, and I feel that by talking to him we can have him share some ideas with us that we can also implement in our various businesses. So Boyd, go ahead, introduce yourself to the audience.
How are you doing, Owen? You okay?
I'm doing awesome.
Great. Well, I'm really excited to talk to you across the Atlantic, and it's great because many of my marketing heroes actually come from America, where you've got a great positive attitude about marketing. In fact, much more so perhaps than English people, who tend to sit on the fence quite a lot. So I've learned a lot from the American gurus such as Jay Abraham and Dan Kennedy and Michael Gerber and people like that, who really understand what marketing is all about in terms of it's about results. It's not about the big brands like Coca-Cola where you can throw millions upon millions of dollars at things and just hope it sticks. It's about real business people, entrepreneurs, spending their own money, their own hard-earned money. It could be going to their kids' college education or on their family or their home, whatever, spending their real money on marketing. So I'm very excited to be talking to you, and especially about what you do for small business and medium-sized business owners that frees up their time, because this is one of the great problems with business owners. They don't ever have any time. So I think we're going to have something in common there about marketing, finding time for marketing and finding time for those tasks which can really make you super profits.
Definitely. I'm really excited having you on the call. So before we even get started talk about the main reason why we're on the call, I want to always give the audience some kind of background as to who exactly they're listening to and why they should be listening to you. So let's start by telling us, why exactly did you become an entrepreneur in the first place?
Well, I worked for quite a few large companies, big media companies. I started out working for a company. Well, actually, I worked in a car when I was 15 years old as a medieval henchman, and that was great fun, dressing up in tights and entertaining guests, particularly Americans that would come to a castle in Warwick. And that gave me a real insight into what people wanted out of a good night out. And then I worked for a whole variety of different companies. One of the people I worked for was a lady called Anita Roddick, and you may have heard of her. She started up a company called The Body Shop in the UK, became very, very successful. Unfortunately, she recently died, but she had a really great philosophy about selling cosmetics, and these were cosmetics sourced ethically, from tribes around the world. She made it entertainment, and she gave me a shop to run in a very famous part of London called King's Road. In Chelsea. She gave me that shop to run, and she said, look, Boyd, whatever you do, I don't mind what you do, but make it entertaining. Make selling entertaining. And that was really where I got my taste for entrepreneurialism from her, because she set herself up very successfully. And through a variety of different jobs, really, I then worked for a guy called John Medeski, and he's a multi-millionaire here in Reading, Berkshire, in the UK. Something like £400 million, which is about $600 million.
In annual revenue?
No, that's what he sold. That's what he's worth.
Wow.
So he went to America. He went to Florida, and he was selling Bentleys when he was younger. And he saw a product called Auto Trader, which was a car magazine.
Okay.
And he thought that's a good idea. So he brought it back to England, built it up over a period of years, sold it for £400 million, which is quite a lot of money, and built a fantastic soccer stadium and a rugby stadium here in Reading. And I worked for him for 8 years. And I think working for a guy who had excellence as his major keyword, really, if you were Google, you type in excellence, his name should really pop up. But he made lots of money, and I worked with him for 8 years. And I suddenly realized after those 8 years that I'd learned quite a lot, and I wasn't really going to make my own money working for somebody else. And so the entrepreneurial dream took hold of me, and I decided to branch out for myself. And the one thing that I knew everyone wanted was more leads. Everyone wants more leads, wants more customers, wants their customers to spend more money, wants the customers to buy more frequently. And entrepreneurs, they will pay you good money to find them leads, to help them find leads and convert them. And that's a business that's never, ever going to go away. Doesn't matter what it is, recession, great economy, internet, offline, direct marketing. everyone wants, the lead. And if you've got as many leads as you can handle coming in, or in fact more, you're never ever going to suffer as a business. So that's the key to the future. The key to the future is always marketing and converting those leads for profitability. And that's why I decided that was the route to focus on in my business life.
Definitely. And when you decided to go into basically the lead generation business, I guess that's what it is, was there anything in your background that actually made you see that was the reason why you needed to be in? What I'm trying to get to is, like, how did you find out that specifically from your experience that there was a need for this?
Well, what happened was when I left working for John Medeski, I went to a few of the people I'd known and I said, look, let me find out what problems you've got as your business, because I was very aware that I need to find out at the coalface, really, get right into businesses, different types of businesses, what their problems were. And by working with these different businesses, it became clear that one of them was they could go away and read all the Dan Kennedy and the J. Abraham books if they knew where they were, but they didn't know how to put those things in practice. If you're a lawyer, you focus on the law. You don't necessarily know how to market your particular breed of services. If you're an accountant, it's exactly the same. If you're a painter or decorator, you're good at painting and decorating. And very few entrepreneurs have systems in place. Very, very few of them have McDonaldized themselves, if you like, to make it a system where they can just walk away and go and play golf during the week and let somebody else, do all the work and handle it all. They just don't have that. And yet, business people are hardworking. They've got good businesses. They do a good job, but there's so much more potential for them. They never question what they're charging. Many of them seem to try and charge the cheapest price. Many of them get a lead in, don't know where it comes from because they don't do any tracking. Many of them may just spend some money on yellow pages, hope that it works, but don't track it. Many people think about putting a website up and do it, but they get ripped off by somebody, and then they don't get any traffic going there, any visitors. So all of this it's almost like if you can create a system for business people that can really just turn their businesses around, give them 20%, 30%, 40%, 100% extra leads and money, then people are going to love you for it. And so far, they do. Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you an example here. Okay, this is a fundamental thing that everyone should do. There's a guy who I do a couple of websites for. One's for a sports company, camsportsinternational.com. I help promote soccer games here in London. For example, Nigeria versus Korea and people like that. These are soccer games which need promoting from the ground up. No one's coming to the game. No one knows the game is on. It's in a foreign country, but I have to promote it from the ground up. And so I have a website and I do Google pay-per-click and stuff like this. But the real hub of the story is this. The guys who I bought the software, the content management system for the website, they sent me an email one day and they said, "Hey Boyd, your website's going really well. Would you like us to do something for you for £47, which is about $60? So I wrote back to the managing director and said, "Hey, look, why did you charge £47, $60? This is worth at least $97 to do this for me." And the guy said, "Well, how do you know that?" And I said, "I'm telling you, I'm your customer. I know what it's worth. This is worth $97 for me." And he said, "Okay, why should I listen to you?" And I said, "Well, look, listen to me now. You're charging $400 to build a website for a client. Let me tell you this now. Charge them $847 to build the same website." And the guy said to me, "You're crazy. It will never work." I said to him, "How many clients have you got?" He said, 500. I said, "Right. Will you do me a favor? For the next 50 inquiries you get, do a split test. Some at £250, which is $500, and some at $847. He said to me, "Boyd, I'll try it and see how it goes." Now, he basically converted more at the higher rate than he did at the lower rate. What this basically means now is that over the last 1 year, he has gained 300 more clients. That took him 8 years to gain that many clients originally. So he's done in 1 year what he's done in 8 years before. And the reason for that is he charges more money, which people feel more confident about giving the money, But what he's got now is he's got an extra $100 of marketing money to spend. So what he can do is spend $30 a lead, convert 1 in 3, and he's still making a lot more money. So one of the first things you do with any business is check your prices. Try charging more money. Don't just slap 100% on. Think about what you can add to your business. Think about sometimes what actually you're doing that you don't even say you're doing. You know, could you give a guarantee? Could you, are you doing some sort of insurance along with your product? You know, what added value can you give? Can you supersize it? Can you deluxe it? You know, think about reducing the price of a basic model. If you've got a basic model, think about a downsell as well as an upsell. You know, these are all things that are very, very basic, but business people who are working in their business never get the chance to try these things out. So I always say, check your price out, see if you can get people to order more, give them a discount for ordering more, see if you can tell them to order more frequently, because if they can order more frequently, you're going to get more business. Other stuff like, you know, when do you go to your clients? How many referrals do you actually ask for? You know, not just...
Before we go into the next point, I just wanted to understand something. Why is it that people are more willing to pay for something that's more expensive than... you just gave an example of how they increase their price and that's bringing more customers out. That's a little bit counterintuitive.
Oh, no, tell me this. Did your mum or your grandma, probably your grandma, did she ever say to you, son, you get what you pay for in life? Did she ever say that to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's a piece of social proof. Your grandma said that to you. My grandma said that to me. You know, we hear that all the time, whether you're buying a Rolls Royce or a Bentley, or whether you're buying a Ford S-Max, you know. The more you pay, the more you feel confident that that product is a good product. Because your grandma has been telling you that ever since you were a kid. Sonny boy, whatever you pay, you pay for what it's worth. So that's a big psychological factor, you know, and if anyone wants to read a book, I recommend Robert Cialdini, Influence, the Power of Persuasion. It's a great book which will tell you how you can use basic psychology to get people to spend more money with you, which is ethically, but, you know, social proof. And if everyone says it, when everyone says it around it, the more you spend on something, the better it's got to be. So that's one of the reasons why people will spend more with you. But, you know, you can't just get a pair of, you know, rubbish sneakers from somewhere and just say that's $100, please, thank you very much. But think about, we've got a chocolate bar in the UK and it's called Aero. And this chocolate bar, I don't know if you have it in America, but it's got lots of bubbles inside the chocolate. Okay, so an Aero. So Aero didn't sell very well for a long, long time. And then the guys just said, you know, the copywriter guy said, why isn't this product selling? It tastes lovely, it's a really nice product. And they realized they didn't say on the packaging, it's the chocolate with bubbles inside it. They hadn't mentioned it. And so the guys did a campaign, you know, this is the lovely, bubbly chocolate. And sales just shot up. It wasn't because the chocolate was any different, it was because what people were saying about it. And there's a great story about one of the beers in, I think it's a Canadian beer. I can't remember the name of which brand it was, but, you know, all the beers are pretty much the same. You know, maybe a little bit of taste, but a lot of it is down to branding and what people believe a beer does for them. Now, one of the guys, the copywriters, looked at this beer, and he interviewed all the guys that brewed it, and he went through it all, and one of the guys was talking to him about, you know, we draw up the water from 400 foot down below in a you know, purified water and blah, blah, blah. And the copywriter said, hey, that's really interesting. And the guy said, no, we all do that around here. We all come out from the same well, you know, it's all the pure water in the aquifers, don't worry about it. But the copywriter said, hey, you may all do it, but none of you say it.
Yes.
And so on the bottle, it became the most pure beer you can buy. And they shot from number 50 to number 3. I can't remember the name of the beer. But again, it's just an example of if you're quoting for a service and you don't tell everybody everything you do because you assume that they know, get someone from outside your company to interview you and to ask you all the questions, because they will see more of what you do than you do because you're too close to it. You know, it's the same as if you're writing copy. Get someone else to outside, your company to read it, because we just assume all the time. I mean, you know what they say about assume. I'm sure this must be an American saying, assume. It makes an ass out of you and me. I'm sure this is American.
I never heard that, but this is the first time. I like it.
But it's true. Don't assume anything. Don't assume people, know everything that you're doing. It's very, very important. So all those things will help you to add value if you write down all the things you actually do. And talking about quotes, when people quote like for like, let's just say I'm a small business guy and someone says to me, I don't know, I want you to do all the landscaping on my house, in my garden. And some guy comes in and he says it's, $2,000. And the next guy comes in and says it's $2,700. Now, if those quotes on the piece of paper are exactly the same, people are going to go with the $2,000 guy. But if the guy who says $2,700 says, and I will also guarantee, weed-free landscaping for the first 6 months, and I will do this and I will do that. Now, guy number A may well do that, but he didn't say it. Whereas guy number B said it, and he says he's insured for, $5 million public liability insurance, and he says that, he will do a whole range of things. Now, when the homeowner compares the quotes, they're going to say, well, actually, $700 for all of this, actually, that's pretty cheap. Especially if the guy says this would normally cost you $2,000 extra and all the rest of it. So even in quotes, if you lose a job, let's say your business, someone's trying for virtual assistant or something, and you lose a business because someone else quoted cheap or whatever, go back to that person and say, can I see the quote? Can you send me the quote they sent me? So when you can see why you lost, because you look at their quote, you can actually say, hold on a second, I can put in 20 things here which don't cost me any money, really. But actually, it might be a lot of value to the person. Add the things on which don't cost, what does it cost me to maybe have a conversation once a month with somebody, for a lawyer, for example. Have a conversation once a month for an hour and make sure their marketing is on track. Now, their rates may be $300, $400 an hour. So in their mind, my hour is $400. So if I have a conversation once a week, that's $1,200 a month. It doesn't cost me $1,200 a month to have a conversation. Now, it doesn't cost them that much either. But in their mind, that's what it's worth. I'm sure that attach your value to everything that you do, because attaching the value builds it up, and then it becomes valuable to the customer.
So let me see if I can summarize what we've covered so far. The first one was changing the price.
Test your prices.
Testing your prices, basically. And now the second thing was really about finding out from the viewpoint of your client or the prospective customer, what exactly your business does, so that you can frame all the story and the solutions and benefits that you give to them, put that in front of them as much as possible, because you never know which one they resonate with, right?
That's right. You do a lot more for people than you actually realize, and sometimes what you're doing is you don't even realize what you're doing. Yeah. You don't even know what people are paying for sometimes.
Yeah. And so this now goes with how you're finding the lead, right?
That's right.
Okay. So I guess the next point would be how exactly do you found the lead, how you're now in what you said, getting the lead, maybe just converting them into actual client.
Well, marketing, people say it's really complicated and they try and confuse you with it, but it's not actually that complicated. There's sort of three elements, really. There's your market. Who is it that you want? Who do you want to buy your product? So that's your market. And then you really then have to think about what it is you want to say to them, which is, what are you saying to those people? What's your message? So you've got market, who are they? Message, what are you saying to them? And the third one is another M, it's media. How are you going to say it to them? So it's very, very simple. And I think it was Dan Kennedy that came up with the triangle of media, of market, media, and message. Your market is who are they? Your media is how you're going to get to them, and your message is what you're going to tell them. Now, there's another guy in America called Jeffrey Gitomer who will say that people don't buy when you want to sell to them. They'll buy when they're ready. People buy when they're ready, not when you want to sell. So let's just take your business as an example. If you want to get to small business people, virtual assistant and stuff, what you're doing is absolutely right. What you've identified as your market, the small business guys, your message will probably be something along the lines of, I can take all of the nightmare headache away from you doing the stuff that you really don't want to do, the boring stuff, so you can get on and grab so many more customers that you can sell your business in 10 years for $1 million, or you can live the lifestyle and freedom that you actually want.
Yeah.
Okay, that may be your message. Then you've got to find out how to get to them, your media. And it may well be through website, it may be through direct mail, through local chambers of commerce, or targeting those people. So once you know what you want to do, your market and your media and your message, then you've got to create the marketing for them. And what you call this pull marketing nowadays is much more effective than push marketing. Push marketing was the old style, in your face, that's right. Pull marketing is, they're going to find you, they're going to like you. First thing, they've got to like you, because no one buys anything from someone they don't like. It just doesn't work. I bought my car from that idiot down the road. No one says that. So they've got to like you. They've got to trust you. They've got to understand that you're the expert. And they've got to understand what it is you're selling, and they've got to understand its value for money, and they've also got to think that by giving you their money, they're helping your business grow because you're helping their business grow. Okay, so liking, trusting, expert status, understanding what it is you've got, understanding the value for money is what marketing is all about. And you have to nowadays do pull marketing, which is proving everything that you can do. Everyone's so cynical nowadays. So people are so frightened of making a decision. You've got to have this preponderance of proof before anyone buys anything from you. But let's just say then you've got your 10 clients already, and first thing you need is your video testimonials from those clients saying, not just, hey, Owen's a great guy. That's nice. Hey, Owen's a great guy. Well, great. There's lots of great guys in the world. But if you have those video testimonials that say, I spend $5,000 with Owen every month, or $5,000 a year with Owen every year, but the time that frees up for me is so valuable that I've turned that $5,000 into $200,000 worth of new business because it frees up my time. I thoroughly recommend you use Owen's people, because not only will you like them and trust them, as a business owner, you can't go forward unless you can do the marketing, and that's what Owen's people allow me to do. Allow me to do the marketing of my business. So if you've got the,
I understand, like in case of someone who has been in business and you have that testimonial, someone who's just coming out and doesn't even have those list of clients to even give them a testimonial, what would they do in that point?
You're talking about someone with no clients at all?
Building up, yes, now.
Okay, no clients at all. They're starting from scratch. Okay. If they're starting from scratch, you've got to find people who are prepared to give you a chance, and you've got to give them a guarantee, because if they're going to give you a chance to do something for them, they put a lot of trust in you. So, for example, if I'm we're talking to a soccer federation at the moment. They have a game, Wales play England soccer at a stadium. We expect they'll get 30,000 into that stadium, and what we're doing is we'll go along to that federation and say, look, we think you can do a promotion. It's based on selling X number of tickets. And what we'd like to do is, don't pay us any money unless we make you money. Okay? The same with any business. If you have the balls in knowledge, in your ability, and really you shouldn't be in business if you don't have the confidence to do it.
Yeah.
Have a free trial. That's the way to get people in. But have a free trial, not where you're saying, hey, just take it free.
No.
Have a free trial on condition that if I make you $10,000, you give me $1,000. How does that sound to you? Or if I make you $100,000, you give me $10,000. Because it's pretty easy to say to somebody, would you rather have $90,000 and give me 10, or would you rather have nothing and not give me anything? I'm putting my, as we say, our balls on the line here, and let's try something out. And I think that that's the way to do it.
Sorry to cut you short, but I think what I'm understanding from what you're saying, if someone doesn't have a client already, or a client of testimonials and all that, So you basically go ahead using a kind of a guarantee, which could be
That's
also
right.
be saying it's results driven. Say if I deliver this results, then pay me what
Listen, yeah, there's a company called Google that's pretty good at payment by results, pay per click. I mean, it works for them. So this is the way the world is going now. People respect people who will do things based on results. The old style, give me $5,000 and I'll run an advert in the Yellow Pages. It just ain't happening anymore. All Yellow Pages are suffering. All newspapers are suffering because it's this smokes and mirrors marketing. Give me the money, we'll see what happens. But that doesn't work anymore. It's give me a chance, let's make this happen, let's do it, it works, you pay me, and then people will be loyal. It's not because if everyone just does the same thing and has a satisfied client, satisfied is okay, but anyone can just move away from someone who's got a satisfied client, but loyalty. If you do something for, say, pick 10 clients in your hometown that you can see you can easily improve their marketing, improve their business, for example, by helping them, whether it's a small business with a virtual assistant, or whether it's me going to lawyers and attorneys. I mean, I can tell you straight away, I can probably do one thing with any attorney, and it will make them lots more money. It's simply writing to their existing customers more than they do. It's just frankly ridiculous. They have 1,000 clients. They write to them maybe once every 2 or 3 years. It's just a complete joke. If you're only trying to sell them once every 3 years, they're only going to buy once every 3 years. So find 10 clients, do something that makes them notice you, and prove it beforehand. If you can see 10 websites of 10 clients, and you can look at those websites and think, this guy hasn't got video on there, this guy isn't appearing in the Google Magnificent Seven, as I call it, local, Google Places top 7, this guy hasn't got a trackable phone number, that's what I can do. I can instantly spot it. I mean, same for you. You can easily spot someone who's got, I suppose, marketing problems or time problems, and go to along and say, hey, we can sort these problems out for you, and what can you do with that extra time? Now, in your case, if they haven't got anything to do with that extra time, then that's going to be a bit more difficult. But we know that any entrepreneur wants to play more golf. Every entrepreneur wants to spend more time with his family. Every entrepreneur wants to get more business, and they can only do those things if they've got more time. Ultimately, you've got to ask these entrepreneurs what they actually want in their from their life, because if they haven't got an exit plan in 10 years, if it's just Boyd Butler Inc., I can't sell myself. They've got to have something to sell at the end of it for their pension plan, I guess, or for their kids. But once they know they've got to build up a system and build up their own franchise, I think that's where you slot in and help them have the time to actually do that.
Okay.
Maybe you have to work with someone like me to help them as well.
I totally get it. I think the idea is, first of all, knowing exactly what the problem you're trying to solve is, and then
That's right.
in the case of someone who's starting out, where you're giving them the guarantee, I say, okay, I will work and get you these results. At the point where you now get them the results, coming back to them and say, okay, how have you now, as a result of me delivering what you were looking for, how are you now, able to, in the case of myself, say I'm trying to deliver them time so that they can use the time to do things in their business. So I would come back and say, okay, now that I've delivered you the extra time you need, what are you, as a result of that time, now using that extra time to do? That's kind of a way to build that testimonial when you start getting the client.
That's right. If they've got it's about results, Owen. People are going to tell you face to face what the time that you've saved saved them, but what is it they're doing with that time? And some people will say, listen, and one of the biggest things for business owners is this: you can build a business, but you can break a family. And this is the big mistake many entrepreneurs make. They build a business, but they break the family. They don't integrate their children into the business. They don't tell their kids what they do. They don't reward their wife or their husband with a great weekend away when they've done really well. They don't explain the reason they're doing it is for their kids and for their family. And many of them get divorced because the pressures are too much. And I think if I've written an article about this before, don't build a business and break a family. You're welcome to have it and send it to as many entrepreneurs as possible, because it's a shame when that does happen. And it's so easy to prevent with a service, like yours, where that's a real emotional sell. And emotion does sell better than facts. You know, emotion sells, and then people justify that by logic. So, you know, that might well be your route. And it's a route for everybody, really, in life, is the emotional route. So, perhaps, you know, the story of the 100% contented, happy businessman that you've created, you know, the biography of that guy that you've helped create is your selling tool. You know, that book that goes into all those people's hands. And business owners think, yeah, I want some of this. I want to be that happy guy with a real family and happy family and a successful business, and Owen's the man that can do it. So perhaps that's the route.
Definitely. So we've gone into how to find, how to get them, and now let's talk about how you keep them.
Well, keeping, you know, at any one time, people are trying to take your customers away. It's like a rustler. You know, you've got your cattle on the ranch, and someone's cutting down those barbed wire fences trying to steal them away with things like promotions and direct mail and, you know, telemarketing and advertising. They're always trying to steal them. So the big thing you've got to do is not just rest on your laurels and think, hey, my customers are satisfied, they'll always keep coming back to me. That just won't work, because there will always be someone stealing them. You've got to have them loyal. And loyalty means that they'll even recommend you to their friends and their family, and they'll talk about you. And one of the easiest ways of doing that, really, is, you know, frequently being in touch with them and talking to them as though you're a human being and as though you care. You know, when they buy something from you, I mean, let's take a car dealership, for example. You buy a car, let's just say it's $15,000 or £15,000, you know. How often does someone put a bunch of flowers on the car seat for you and deliver the car to your home? It just doesn't very often happen. How often does someone ring you up the next day and ask you, hey, how was everything with your car? How often does someone ring you up in a month's time and say, hey, do you know what? I've got a couple of cinema tickets for you to go and see the latest film, just as a thank you for buying that car from me. How often do they send you a birthday card and say, hey, you know, remember me, it's Boyd Butler from the Ford dealership, happy birthday. It's, you know, because you've got the birthday date when you sign the credit agreement or anything, you know. It just doesn't happen. So you have to have a system which is your loyalty system, and your loyalty system may be, you know, anything from postcards and Christmas cards to voice broadcasting, where you can send out a voice broadcast to all your clients in one go, you know, as a personalized message. But you have to do that. It's frequently touch your clients, because the more you can touch them and the more you can give them value when you touch them, the more they'll recommend you to other people, the more opportunities you've got for those referrals, and the more opportunities you've got for selling them something else as well. You know, if you're a car dealer, it's servicing. If it's you know, if it's your local barber or your hairdresser or something, you know, it might be cosmetic products which you might like, or it might be you know, a massage product which they might have a deal with a massage person or a chiropractor or something else. You know, barbers and hairdressers are great centers of the community. They get to a lot of people. They're really good partners to have, you know, for local businesses. So, I mean, it might be an email newsletter. It might be text messaging. But the real key to it is come up with your very simple system. And I'd recommend, you know, minimum of 12 touches a year, minimum of once a month, ideally every fortnight. And, you know, I get contacted by some businesses I buy things from 2 or 3 times a week. You know, my newsletters go out maybe 2 or 3 times a week, but they always give value to somebody. And that's the way you keep your clients loyal. And that's about keeping clients. You know, it's a crime to get a client, to find one, to get one, and then to lose them to somebody else is an absolute crime. You must just spend the time and have a system in place which does that. And if you need to, you can always use something called an autoresponder, you know, which is an AWeber or a MailChimp. It's an autoresponder where you can put in 25 email messages and they will just automatically go, and you won't have to touch them at all. Not always ideal, but worst case scenario is there's nothing wrong with an autoresponder, which will do that for you. Put the email address in there, and at least you know those people being touched on a regular basis. So that's one tip, really. If you've never looked at an autoresponder, have a look at iContact, AWeber, or MailChimp, any of these autoresponders. That be worth it for most small to medium businesses.
So definitely, from what I've heard you say, it's kind of like going above and beyond with customer service. That's really what the whole thing of keeping the client is any way any other regular business will react when it comes to being doing customer service for their clients. You're thinking of how you can go above and beyond that and do an extra step or two just to live in their heart.
Treat them like a friend, Owen. That you got to, every entrepreneur's got to remember that who puts their kids through college, who puts the food on the table, who buys the car, who buys the holidays, who buys the clothes. It's the customers. Now, if your customers do that for you, shouldn't they be your best friend? God, they're better than my best friend because they give me loads of money, So treat them like your best friend, and sometimes it doesn't even relate to your work. It might be that you might know Bob follows a particular baseball team, and you might just see something about that baseball team. You might just fire him a quick email and say, hey, I didn't realize that so and so has just signed for. You must be really happy about it. Now, that guy's going to be thinking, God, he really takes an interest in me. This guy, he's not just trying to get my money. He's taken an interest in me as a person. And there are fantastic systems now which have been developed in America which can really segment your whole database. If you've got, it's difficult to keep that information in your head, but if you've got, a couple of thousand clients, 5,000, 10,000 clients, there is a company called Infusionsoft out there in America, and lots of the big marketing and internet gurus are using it because it's so good at segmenting databases, and you can really, really fire appropriate individualized messages at people. So, if you've got some money and you want to spend something on a marketing tool, then something like Infusionsoft is probably the way to go. Most people will never have heard about it, and if you hear about that and you use it, it can send you faxes, it can send calls, it can send direct mail, postcards, emails, SMS texts, the whole lot. Anyone that uses things like that nowadays will just blow the rest of the market away.
So kind of making use of a CRM, a customer relationship management software too.
Yeah, but done not by huge companies that don't really understand the small business marketplace. Done by people that understand the small business marketplace. That basically say, if you're a guy and you want to set up all your marketing to be automated, this is the system that you need, something like that. Because all those other stuff it's just too complicated and doesn't really work for small to medium businesses. But yeah, it's about knowing your customers, what they want, when they want it, and the other aspect about being in touch with them on a regular basis is that they buy when they want to buy, not when you're trying to sell them. They buy when you want to buy. I've had people come back to me 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line and say to me, hey, I'm ready to give you some money now. And I say, well, 4 years on since I first wrote to you. And they go, yeah, I was checking you out for 4 years. 4 years checking me out. But I'd rather have that money. And it's like marketing sequences as well, Owen. This is another aspect for small business, for any business owner. You hear it that most businesses will put an advert in a newspaper or Yellow Pages or something, and what will happen is they might get a phone call and that person says, I want to hire you for some gardening work, okay? Maybe. So send me your brochure. You might send a brochure, and maybe someone will make another phone call to that person once. But that's it. 3 times, that's not enough. If you put them into a marketing sequence, and you have this automated marketing sequence, and it goes to them for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, what will happen is when they're ready to buy, they will buy from you. So marketing sequence, again, it can completely transform your customer acquisition costs. If you're spending $500 in a Yellow Pages advert a month, and you're converting just one client, and that's making the $500 back, but you're getting 5 leads. Now, if you can convert just one more of those leads, another $500, Yellow Pages advert is then doubling its money. It's making you $1,000 a month. But you've got to have a marketing sequence in place to get those 4 people that weren't buying straight away. Suddenly, when you're doubling your money on advertising, you can afford to spend more money on advertising, and then, your competitors will be thinking, how the hell can you spend all this money on advertising? What's happening? It might just be you've got a marketing sequence in place which helps you convert more clients.
Definitely. I like the way you've covered how to keep the clients. And lastly, the last point was how to grow the customers.
Well, if you've got them and they're happy now and they're loyal and they're buying things from you, I mean, it's growing them is you need to know everything about their business so that when the opportunities are right, you can grow with them. But one of the easiest things you can do is, you know, if you're selling, so let's say you're selling envelopes, you say you're an office supplies company, and they're buying 1,000 envelopes from you a month. Well, perhaps you can turn around and say, look, I've got a sale on here. If you buy 2,000 envelopes from me this month, I'll do them at a certain price. Suddenly, you might get 15% of people buying 2,000 envelopes from you on your list. The other thing is you should always have an upsell and a downsell for when people want to do more. And one of the things you should actually do is if someone phones you in, you know, and they're saying to you, I'd like to, I don't know, buy 1,000 envelopes, please. You should have that upsell ready. Hey, we've got a special on 1,200 envelopes this week, and it's only 5% more than 1,000 envelopes.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Or I want to buy 2 tires for my car, please. Hey, if you buy 4 tires, we've got a special deal today. It's only mentioned today. On average, on an upsell, 15% of people will buy an upsell when you present it to them. The same for a deluxe product. People like to think of themselves as special. They like to think of themselves as better than the other person. So, hey Boyd, we've got a special platinum deluxe model for you. Is that something of interest to you? Because it does this, this, and this extra. Hey, yeah, I'm a platinum deluxe type of guy. I'll buy that, please. No problem at all. I'll buy my golf club with a special type of, grip on it, made from some type of thing that no one else has got, or whatever it is. Always have an upsell. Always ask them to buy more frequently. Ask them to buy bigger. Ask them to buy more expensive. Always ask those things, because no one's going to be offended if it's a good deal. No one's going to be offended that you've asked them to buy more. They're not going to be offended about that at all. They're going to thank you. If you're delivering a good service or a good product, they're going to say, thanks for giving me the opportunity for buying this at such a great rate.
Wow.
So that's the simplest way.
And when I was thinking of how to grow your customers, I understand how you're saying now how to actually grow sales by having those same customers you have, increase the number of sales that things they're buying from you. I was also thinking about it along the line of having them refer new customers, new clients.
Oh yeah. Well, there's two things really. The first one is, very few people have a systematic referral scheme in place. Most people ask for referrals like this. Hey, Owen, you just bought some new tires from me. Do you know anyone else that might need some tires? And you're going to say, I haven't really got time for this. I've got 400 things going on in my head at the moment. My child's, teething at home. I've got to pick up the shopping. I've got to go and get my dry cleaning. I haven't got time to think about this, and it's gone. That just won't work. You have to have a systematic referral system in place. And what this means is that you're the current client, Owen. You're my current client. You just bought 4 tires from me. I'm the local car guy. I'm going to give you something that's going to make you look good to your friends. Okay? I'm going to give you a check that's good for $100 to buy tires from me. Let's just say my tires cost $500. Cost $200 each. I'm going to give you a check, right? In fact, I'm not going to give you 1 check. I'm going to give you 5 checks for 5 of your friends. And on that check, I want you to sign your name and give it to all your best friends, your best buddies. You sign your name. And if if one of the 5 checks come back, okay, with your name signing it and their name when they come in and buy tires from me, I will sort you out with brand new tires next year. You won't pay a penny because you've just got me 5 new clients. So you've got a £100 check to give to your best buddies. It makes you look good. Yeah. Yeah? You've got an incentive to give it to them because you're going to get new tires if your buddies come in. Yeah? And your buddy's going to feel good because he's got $100 off some tires. Now, if you only give it to 2 people, if you only give it to 1 person and it works, you just double your business. Yeah? But you've got to get the trust of your current client to give something of value to their friend. Because if you give it to your friend and I screw up, you're not going to be happy you've referred me. So I've got to have a great business, but I've also got to make it worthwhile for you to trust me and to give to your friend. So everyone should have a referral system in place that gives value to your current person, i.e. some sort of reward, It doesn't have to be financial reward. It might be a couple of cinema tickets. It might be a meal somewhere. You know, it might just be, I don't know, your photograph up on their wall saying, you know, Owen's my best referrer or something. You know, give something to your existing clients of value so that they can refer their best friends to you. So that's one way of growing your client base. The second way of growing is this. Now, if I sell tires, okay? Let's just say I sell tires. Who else gets to car owners before me and after me? Okay, I get to the car owners when they need some new tires. But who gets to them before me and after me? Okay, garages get to them. The garage that sells the car gets to them before they need new tires. Okay, maybe they've got their own servicing or maybe not.
Yeah.
Who else gets to them? Okay, perhaps a car place where they buy stuff to keep their car clean. A car wash. Okay, a car wash gets to the car owner before he needs new tires. So I'll do a deal with a local car wash and say, hey, give out this piece of voucher, please, to all your car wash people. And I'll tell you what I'll do. Anyone that comes in and gets a new set of tires from me, I'll give them a free car wash and I'll buy the car washes from you. So the car wash dealer says, yeah, that's pretty good. You're going to buy some car washes from me. Great. You're going to publicize my car wash. Get your new tire car people to come to my car wash. And I'll publicize your new tires and my car wash people. It's a win-win deal. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of businesses around that are complementary to yours. People that get to your clients before you get to them, get to them after. And all you have to do is write or phone to them and say, hey, it's easy. I'll provide you with all the marketing material. I'll track it all for you. I'll give a guarantee to your clients. If they're not happy, I'll refund their money. And I'll split any money we make 50-50. How does that sound to you? It's new money for them. It's new money for you. Why wouldn't you want to do it?
Wow.
That's really great, and it's so easy.
I like the way you put it, because it's like you put this from the referral based on actually growing the business. Is really three things based on what you've told me now. Is getting the current clients that you have to continue buying, you know, ordering more of your products with more of your services. So growing the revenue from the current clients. Also getting those clients that you already have, referring, you know, their friends and other people they know to come back to. So basically bringing new clients to you based off referrals from your current client. And the third way is to go and look for businesses that not necessarily similar to yours, but they adjacent in terms of the kind of services they're providing to other clients who most likely might have need for what you're providing, and going to those businesses and saying, you know what, if you refer me clients in one way or the other, I'm going to find a way to have those clients come back to your services as well. So it's a mutual beneficial thing.
It's win-win. Listen, you know, America is based on competition, but in reality, you know, it's not about competition, it's about cooperation. People who cooperate win.
Yes.
You know, that's the basic fact about life. It's about cooperating. Whether you cooperate at home, whether you cooperate in business, the people that cooperate will always be bigger than the people that just go for competition, because two brains are better than one. You know, two brains give you a third brain in the middle where you bounce ideas backwards and forwards. So what I would say is get out there, think about those people who offer complementary and non-competitive services or products to you, and cut a deal with them. Just cut a deal with them and say, hey, let's make some money together here, and let's, you know, that'll be fantastic. Whatever you make is new money.
Definitely. Before I even let you go, I already have the idea of, okay, getting my clients to buy more time, because we offer the clients service based on time, right?
Yeah.
So the whole idea of getting them to buy more time is, okay, if they need more work done for them, proposing the idea of buying time, and also making use of athletes and giving them a chance to sell our services to their friend. Now, when you make this mention of going to adjacent businesses and trying to see how I can partner deals with them, knowing what I do in my business, what adjacent companies do you think I should go out and try and work out deals with?
Well, I think you got CPAs, they're accountants. I think we call them accountants. I think you call them CPAs.
Yeah.
So there must be lots of CPAs who have got, you know, lots of small business clients, and the reason they're with a CPA is because they can't do their own accounts. They can't do their own accounts because they haven't got the skill or maybe the time to do their own accounts, you know. So you look at the CPAs and will they refer you on? So that would be one market that you would look at. So anyone who is talking and has got existing clients. You know, attorneys, small business attorneys, you know, attorneys that look after small businesses, they will have clients again that, you know, maybe the attorneys would use you. There are lots of virtual firms now, you know, attorneys, because there's even some guys, Americans, have set up in Israel now. You know, they've gone to Israel and they operate from Israel. They do American law from Israel. This just happens to be where they live, and they're a third of the price of American attorneys. So, business attorneys for small businesses, they will have many, many clients, and they'll be able to refer business to you, and it will help their clients. So anyone who can suggest to their clients, their small business clients, that, hey, use Owen, because he will free up your time to be able to make you a more successful business, and put it in such a way that they're helping their small business clients by referring you. They're not trying to sell you, they're just saying, hey, I know these guys, they've got some good people that work, do some great stuff. Here's a little bit of a video and story about what they've done. Maybe you should just check them out and have a chat to the guy, because, you know, it seems like you're struggling for a bit of time, and you could do with a bit of time, and that might help you out. So that's probably the sort of places that I'd go to.
Wow, I like the way you even able to help me, you know, think about who exactly I'm going to go after and try and get them to, you know, work out a deal with. I really enjoyed you know, having you on this call, and I'm sure my audience they also enjoyed listening to you. So, in order for them to contact you, how best can they get a hold of you?
Well, if they want to contact me, the best way is to do it probably by email, and it's really simple. It's Boyd, B-O-Y-D, that's my first name, Boyd, at boydbutler.co.uk. So it's Boyd, B-O-Y-D, at boydbutler, that's boydbutler.co.uk. If they just search for Boyd Butler online, they'll either find me or Dr. Gas, who is a great exhaust manufacturer from somewhere in the mid-US, but don't confuse me with Dr. Gas. He makes exhaust systems for the Daytona 500 and all that sort of stuff.
Thank you, Boyd, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, and all the best for the future. Good luck.
Wow.
So welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I really want to know what exactly you think. I mean, if I suck and if I'm not doing a good job, I want to know, because by your input and your comments, your suggestions, your feedback, that's how I'm going to, you know, improve on the entire package of what I'm sharing with you. I really want to improve so that you know that your time is well spent when you watch my videos. And if I do good on, you know, interviews, and if you like certain things I do, please let me know so I can even improve upon that as well. And I want to thank you really, because your time is well spent, and I mean, your time is, you know, important to me, and I want to make sure that I continuously put this information in front of you. So I want you to join my community. And in order to do that, you need to click on the link that says get the free ebook, enter in your name and email, and you will receive as a gift from me my free ebook titled The Entrepreneur's Guide to Running a Business in the Cloud. The reason I do that is because I want to share with you that information. You know, you can check it out and make use of it in your business. In the same vein, I will be sending you email updates every time I have new blog posts, as well as if I have, you know, new stuff that is not even on the blog, I want to share with you. That way we can stay in contact. One more thing. Before you go, I want to also let you know that if you are really serious about finding, hiring, training, and even working with virtual assistants, if right now you want to get that started, why don't you sign up for my free webinar where I share everything about the entire process. And you can get to do that by clicking on the link on the very top of my blog where it says sign up for the free webinar. Again, thanks for watching the video, and I hope to see you next time.